welcome back to another week of Minors Recap. I am Doof,
I'm True Blue.
and we are going to have a little bit of a special show this week because we covered a bunch of really exciting games this weekend. We were trying to figure out which game to cover, but we realized that with only 1 week to go, it's probably time to start seriously discussing different playoff scenarios. So we're going to do a quick run through of the leagues first, see how everything stacks up, and then at the end we got something a little special for you. So, Drew, do you want to do Americas or Europe first?
Let's start with Europe.
Alright, let's do it. So it was kind of a bonkers week this week. First up, I think the first thing we should take a look at is probably the biggest playoff implication game in a weird way. Red Velvet Titans versus Joker's Legion. So this was two teams that desperately needed to win out to have a chance at really good chance at making playoffs, and they kind of ran into each other and annihilated each other's hopes and dreams a little bit.
Yeah, I actually thought both of them were immediately, not both of them, I thought Red Velvet Titans was immediately disqualified until I looked at it closer. But you would immediately think that their hopes and dreams are now probably, at least Red Velvet Titans is less than 1%. Joker has still, I'd say, a good 30% chance to make it.
Yeah, the main thing is it doesn't change much, I guess, for Red Velvet Titans because it was never 100% in their control, but Joker was in control of his own destiny. Hey, Pouquet, what's up, man? And now he is no longer, so that's got to not feel good for Joker. But if you look at the stats, it looks like it was just a straight-up slugfest. 52 blocks to 49 blocks, equal ball possession, about what you'd expect.
Talk ton of removals for Red Velvet Titans, but they just never stopped.
From what I heard, there was a murder fireball in this game as well.
Who said attrition fireballs didn't work?
Yeah, exactly. This was one of those Armageddon fireballs. And according to Joker, he said it was what allowed him to stay competitive in the game. So he was quite happy about that.
Oh. The fireball knocked down 3 people out of 6.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So, Joker messaged me and said he had a great game, and he specifically wants me to pass this on, and I'm passing this on without attaching any of my own opinions to it. He specifically wants to wish Corvain the worst next week, for reasons that we'll get into once we go through the recap, I suppose.
Yeah, I think there's 3 coaches that want to wish him the worst, but
there's a lot of coaches that want to wish Corvain the worst. He's kind of the linchpin of the end of the season. So
yeah,
Corvain obviously wants you all to wish him the best. But that's that game. Next up, Clan Nibblers versus Morporkian Misdemeanors. This was another game that sort of had playoff implications in the sense of Clan Nibblers needed to bring their playoff hopes back to life a little bit with a big win here, and they got one.
They did.
They got one real big. So 3-0, pretty impressive, especially considering I think he was below 1,000 for this game. So he was.
Oh yeah, that's right. He got annihilated.
He was running inducements, but it looks like he played the inducements incredibly well. And I don't know which ones he had, but I might be able to see in a moment here, thanks to the amazingness that is Rebel.net.
Oh, we can see inducements off of that? Say what?
Well, maybe not on the rookie site yet. It looks like you can on the majors site, but so soon, hopefully, you will be able to. But yeah, that was well done to Clan Nibblers and to Toast, and he's back in the playoff conversation. Although again, not fully under his own control. Next up, for a game that was 0 playoff implications, but purely just kind of for development purposes, Rat Street Boys versus Sadomaso Christs. So
one team really dominated.
Yeah, the humans. This was the opposite. The humans curb stomped the Rats in this one. Although I'm looking at the block and injury dice, and it looks like the rats were knocking humans around just as hard as the humans were knocking the rats around.
Well, there might have been 4 sets of LOS blocks that
Yeah.
contributed to that.
That's true. Humans had to set up a lot, but trying to see what the SPP looks like. That's 5, 9, 14, 17, 19, 22 SPP for the humans. Boo is going to be incredibly happy. What's up, Ozzy? How you doing? But yeah, it's...
Hey, Puke.
So well done.
Hey, Ozzy.
Well done to Boo. That's a pretty good statement win at the end of the season to say, like, hey guys, I'm going to be a threat still. That's another coach that probably is wishing Corvain the worst next week, actually. But again, we'll get into that. Speaking of Corvain, he went up against Ricky this week in a game that had massive playoff implications, and congratulations to Ricky for being the second coach to secure a guaranteed playoff seed. He cannot drop below 4th at this point.
I believe I was the only one that was on Ricky's hype train. Does that mean you all eat shit?
No, I was on Ricky's hype. I was on Ricky's hype train from week 1. I don't know what you're talking about, but it is true.
Last week though.
Oh, I did not pick him to win. That is true. So, I forget if this was the game where we agreed that somebody was going to eat shit, but
I think there's 2 games. I don't remember the second one though.
You know what? Joker's not here, so I'm going to claim Joker's the one that has to eat shit. He's the one that made the bet, clearly.
No, it's Iron. We're making Iron do it.
We're making Iron do it? All right, Iron, you've been called
he joined
out.
us last week.
That's right. Iron, you've been called out. We expect the video within the week. But not... So the Lizards controlled the game incredibly well. Not as many injuries as you might expect. They outblocked... they did lose, I think, a skink, but... It's skinks. You kind of expect them to die. Let's take a quick look and see what died.
If I seem to remember, he eliminated Corvain's killer pretty early.
Ooh, so that's a pretty big...
Yeah, he eliminated Corvain's killer, and then all of a sudden it was less reliable.
Yeah.
Oh, but he had another killer.
Well, it looks like one of his killers leveled, so depending on what he picks there, which... If he wants to be
No, we're
safe...
talking about this last week with the level.
Okay. Well, he'll be able to level that off the MVP, which is nice.
Yeah.
Next up, Knobbly Knights, Old New York Sewer Rats was a bye, so we'll skip that one. And then last up, congratulations to Yorick. The final undefeated coach of the season has fallen. And with that win, he secures himself the 3rd playoff slot from Europe. Can't drop below, I think, 2nd in his case. No, below 3rd in his case. So
the thing I want to say about York is that he's played an amazing defensive game the 2 times I've seen him play.
Yeah.
Really, really good defensive coach, and that explains why with the Chaos team that is not as developed as Corvain's, how he's had more success.
Yeah, and we watched this game on the stream. You guys can check out the VOD if you're curious, which reminds me I should probably upload that to YouTube before it goes away, because that was a fun game to watch. Yorick's positioning was just on point. Gogma just could not force his way through the wall of chaos that was in the way. And then Gogma got forced into some awkward positions and had to take some risky plays and just got banged around. So he's not the way that he wanted to end the season, for sure. He's missing a guard lineman, which is pretty huge, and Charles Deckens is niggled. So his blodge step tackle blitzer, he's going to keep, obviously, because it's a playoff run, but eventually that's going to need to get cycled, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's pretty much worst case scenario for him, though.
That was Europe in general. Let's take a look at the next week. In case you were curious, by the way, out of Europe, we all picked Red Velvet Titans and Joker's Legion wrong because it was a tie. Ozzy and I picked Clan Nibblers. You picked Morporkian, so ha.
Oh, man.
Everyone picked you were the only one who picked Ricky, so yes, someone's eating shit on that one. And then we were all wrong on Lavender Town versus Hell's Doofuses. So,
Yeah.
um, but let's take a look at next week. First up, Joker's Legion versus Clan Nibblers. Somebody is getting their dreams shattered in this game.
Yeah. That is a big-time playoff implication game.
Yep.
Potentially.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about the playoff situation, but basically this is a win or go home. If they tie, they both go home game.
Yep.
Who do you think has the edge here?
Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Let me look at the teams real quick.
Yeah, I'm
Clan
gonna pull up
Nibblers.
Joker's Legion right now. It's got levels finally.
They're technically the overdogs in this game. This is weird.
1350 to 1300. That's only because Toast got annihilated and is still rebuilding.
Yeah. Oh, the sure hands is really nice on his ghoul. That's going to help against that all of a sudden in a strip ball dauntless piece.
Yep. I do like that Toast has named his Storm Vermin Gonna Apo this time. ... Okay, that
Toast,
used to be
I think
that used to be a Claw Vermin that he saved the Apo on. So let it die to save for his one-turner, only to roll
That
a movement
still
bust
died.
into a movement bust on a one-turner, which was rough for Toast.
it was sad.
Yeah. So Clan Nibblers are diminished, to say the least. It went from being the scariest Skaven team to arguably the least scary. I don't know, though. He took this diminished Skaven team and still styled on Morporkian misdemeanors. So,
Yeah. There's going to be a Babe involved. How many players does he have? Let's see. He has 11.
Yeah, so he's got a full
I'm gonna
squad.
go probably Jokers purely because he has a bench, so that way he can foul a little bit. You can't afford to do that if you're Clan at this point.
No, he does have the dirty player, but honestly, it's a dirty player block lineman. He needs the extra block. I believe in the gutter runners, I think. Wrestle, strip ball, dauntless, wrestle, dauntless, blodge step. It's going to be tough for Joker to stop him from scoring, especially because I think Joker only has one tackle. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Yeah, one
He
tackle.
only has one.
So I think if you're picking Jokers, I think I'm going to go Clan Nibblers.
It seems like somebody's trying to make a comeback at the end of the season or something.
I don't know, maybe. It's possible. But also just, I don't know. If there was a Skaven team and a Skaven coach that could make miracles happen at the end of the season, it would probably be Toast with the Nibblers. So, and Skaven, you can never count them out. Famously, Lynx has been running a Skaven team that's literally 2 stars and nothing else, and been winning with it consistently for like 2 seasons in the Big O now. So, anything is possible.
That is impressive.
Anything is possible.
That is very impressive.
I don't know if they finally got recycled this year, but they were amazing for a while. Next up, Sadomaso versus Red Velvet Titans.
This is interesting.
Win or go home for Ernadar. And
holy hell, he has so much Mighty Blow.
Possibly win and go home for him as well.
Oh
but
my gosh.
Here's the thing. Lucky Pete was one of the recipients of that God Fireball, and his other runner died from the same God Fireball. So he's got a rookie as his ball carrier.
Yeah, and I think that's the saving grace. That's pretty much the X factor in this game for me against Sadomaso. He has so much Mighty Blow, it might not make a difference at all.
Yeah.
And so much guard. He should really control the game really well.
Somehow he's 1390, so he's the underdog in this game too. With this much
How
murder.
is that team so low? Holy hell.
Because Lucky Pete is 170k worth of his TV, and he's out this game. And the other
Well, it's
guy was like,
170k well spent.
yeah, the other guy was like 130k. So like he got trimmed 300k TV in one game basically. But yeah, he's I gotta back Ernadar in this. He's gonna get a wizard or something, or bribing a babe or something good, and he's got more to play for than Cairo does, I think.
He does have more to play for, and he has
Or sorry, not
7
Cairo.
Mighty
I've
Blow.
been looking at I've been looking at Cairo's team. I'm looking at
Boo.
Boo. Yeah,
Sorry, Boo.
Boo. But yeah, there's no guard on Boo's team. That's the big problem for me. Boo's gonna
No
have
guard
trouble
versus
hitting
5
anything.
guard, and then like 3 Mighty Blow versus 7 Mighty Blow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the team with the more skills.
Yeah, Boo's just gonna have trouble hitting stuff, and I guess he only gets a babe. Ernadar does, which, it's not nothing, but
He has 150k in cash to spend, which I wouldn't be against him doing that if his playoff hopes are on the line.
yeah, you could maybe dig deep for a bribe if you really want to try to get that player advantage early. And dwarves with a player advantage is just the worst to play against.
Yep.
Next up, Blacklisters Union versus Morporkian Misdemeanors. So here's the game that I was talking about for Joker, where he is wishing Corvain the worst. We'll go a little bit more into the details later again, but basically if Corvain wins this game, he locks the 4th playoff spot, and nothing any of the teams above that we were talking about matters. So Cairo now has the opportunity to play Kingmaker a little bit. If Corvain loses, it's wide open. And it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how this game goes out because it literally decides everything in Europe.
Yeah, it really does. This is definitely Corvain, Cairo. Let me know when you guys schedule your game. I would love to try and cast this one live because of how impactful it is. Maybe we can get Chubstep back in too for another TriCast or Ironmaster.
We're gonna get that manatee ass back in here.
Manatee, yeah, we got to get the manatee ass back in, so that he can complain about people manatee assing.
Yeah.
But
Or saying that they should manatee ass.
exactly. So traditionally, humans match up okay against Chaos. They've got more movement than Chaos does. They can semi-brawl to try and keep up on the removal game because Chaos aren't exactly the sturdiest of teams. But
It's gonna be 11 players on Corvain.
yeah. Yeah,
This is interesting.
And so Olnagor picked block. That was the killer that leveled. So he does still have a killer, and it's now a reliable killer.
Yep.
Morporkian is sitting on a level on a blitzer. Yeah. Corvain's front line of block guard Chaos Warriors is going to be the biggest problem for Cairo to deal with.
Yeah. This is going to be a very interesting game. I'm just going to go with Cairo just because I want to see how all this craziness plays out.
Ah, you do? All right, well, I'm going with Corvain. No, you know what? You're right. Oop. As I just successfully opened the... Okay, seriously? I shift-tabbed, and then shift-tab wouldn't let me close it. So, whoops. I'm going to go with Morporkian Misdemeanors as well, because I like Chaos, and I want to see Chaos, but... Corvain, this is not us wanting you to lose because we don't like you. This is us wanting you to lose because Chaos is a ladder.
Game of Thrones reference, guys.
Yep. And if you do win, preemptive congratulations on the playoff run. You definitely deserve it. But then if you lose, congratulations to whoever gets it. You also deserve it. Got to keep that mod impartiality going. So
Yeah, I can't do that.
Next up, it's a rat off. It's Old New York Sewer Rats versus Rat Street Boys. Let's take a look at Old New York. So yeah, it's two Skaven teams that just have not developed all that rapidly or that scarily. Like, they've got...
Well, the old New York Sewer Rats look really good.
Yeah, it's...
But they just haven't seemed to put it all together.
They've got good pieces, but they don't have those, like, those Skaven pieces that make you kind of do a double take and be like, what the hell? How is that legal? Like...
I'm doing that with Pinky right now.
Pinky's good.
Lie.
Pinky's good. If Pinky gets Agi 6, it would be the worst. But
let's not talk about those Agi 6 things, or let's just kill them.
Yep.
But and then
know.
The Rat Street Boys. It's gonna be tough. I'm gonna go. All right, hold on. What's the score right now, leaderboard wise?
Rat Street Boys have 3, 2, and 5, and...
Oh, no, I'm talking about us predicting games.
Oh, you're up by 4 on me.
How about me versus Ozzy?
You're up by 3 on Ozzy.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Londinium. Let's do it.
I'm gonna go with Rat Street Boys. I believe in you, Malcolm.
I believe in the Agi 5.
I believe in
Come on.
Malcolm.
Magneto, you got
power
me.
of flowers and friendship.
No, Magneto, you got me. You're not going to let me down.
Next up, Hell's Doofuses versus Lizard Blizzard. So this is the battle for first.
Yeah, and if they tie, then neither of them gets first.
Yes, there are so many implications here. If pulling up the leaderboard, Gogma gets a bye this week, so he's going to finish at 7-3-1. But his TD differential is better than either Rick or Yorick's. So if they tie, then they don't gain any TD differential by definition, and Gogma takes first seed. But if either of them wins, congrats, you got first seed. So if you had to pick one, who's it going to be?
Oh, God. I hate this game now.
I know who mine is going to be.
Who's yours going to be?
Ricky beat a better Chaos team, a more developed Chaos team last week, and Ricky is also a good enough coach to match up against the fact that Yorick is an excellent coach. Like, Ricky is just as excellent a coach as Yorick is. So I gotta go with proven track record, and I'm going with Lizard Blizzard.
You sold me. I'm going to do it mainly because those skinks are X Factors.
Yeah.
Those skinks are so good.
Yeah. So,
Lubit 9, Agi 4, Blodge.
Yeah.
Scary.
I will say, even if Yorick loses this game, if he manages to permanently injure or kill at least one Saurus, he's actually won.
Yes.
Because...
And everybody in playoffs would congratulate him.
Yeah.
As if he was the first seed.
Because Ricky's Saurus have finally hit the point where they're not underdeveloped. They're not greatly developed, but they're not underdeveloped anymore. And if he loses one, Saurus just are so slow to develop. It's such a pain. Like...
Yep.
And then finally, last but not least, we talked about it. Lavender Town has bye. Congrats, Gogma. He is just sitting and hoping that Rick and Corvain annihilate each other.
Yep.
As is tradition. So that's it for America.
You mean Europe?
I mean Europe. Let's go for America now. I mean everywhere is America. I don't know what you're talking about. Everywhere is either America or they don't know it yet.
America, fuck yeah.
So first up, let's look at the other game we cast this week, and that's Balthor's Bashers versus Winged Centaurs. And yeah, poor Ozzy got, despite winning on ball possession, he just got banged around and was never able to push it through for a score.
Yeah.
The dwarves...
What's up with these dwarf runners?
Oh, geez, what does this one have? Oh my god,
It's a vampire.
I forgot about the vampire runner. That's arguably better than Lucky Pete.
I don't know, the movement's really, really nice.
Yeah. The Agi busted Troll Slayer is unfortunate, but not too upsetting.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this, and it's just, man. Baltimore's Bashers, though, talked about playing spoiler.
Yeah.
You beat 2 playoff teams in Anger and Audsley Viking back-to-back weeks. Props to you.
Yeah. Viltris is got to be feeling pretty good on his season, even though I think he's out of playoff contention.
He's out, but he
This
made
is
it
looking good. This is looking good. He could try to get some devastational experience, or honestly, he could probably just take this straight into the majors as is, and be competitive in whatever division he ends up in.
Yeah. That is the team that I don't want to face come next season, but who knows? We might get in the same division.
You'll see. All of us Miners coaches ended up kind of clustered in the same 2 divisions, so it could happen. Ozzy avoided major damage, which I think he's very happy about.
And he got the dirtiest hobgoblin I've ever seen.
I know. He admitted to me he took it because memes, and I cannot not root for that.
Yeah.
Or to be more accurate, I think I told him, "You're taking that because memes, right?" And he was like, "Yes, I am taking it because memes."
Oh my gosh. But this Torf team, it's very well developed. He's had a little bit of bad luck where he hasn't had the best results the last few weeks. And now it's looking like he has to win to get in. Because if he loses, there's a chance that he might not make playoffs.
Yeah, which would be pretty upsetting after how well the first half of his season went. So.
Oh, yeah. How well the first, 8 games of the season went.
Yeah. No worries, Puke. I'm also going to upload this to YouTube later, so if you you can also catch it on there, which I'll link on the Twitch page, which I really should do, honestly. I don't know if it is on there, but thanks for trying to catch it, and we'll see you next time.
See you, Puke.
Next up, Bifrost Guardians vs. Salty Chips has not been played yet, and it's unclear if it's going to be played due to real-life situations, which, we just, hopefully it does get played, but if it doesn't, then it doesn't, and we'll just
best wishes to Angra.
Yeah.
Best wishes to Angra and all of the East Coast, because that thing looks terrifying.
Yeah. Without getting too into detail, there's a hurricane that's about to whack Angra in the face, metaphorically. So we hope
he might be out of range, but he might not.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We hope that everything goes well, and we hope that he is able to, A, both not get hit by the hurricane, and B, be able to play his game. In that order. More important to not get hit by
much less B. much more
A. Exactly. So we'll come back to that and how that might affect playoff implications later. Next up, you played Grumpelstiltskin / Absinthe Minded in a game that was kind of a must-win for the... Well, not really a must-win, but it would be nice to win for the Wood Elves. And you...
It was a must-win for me.
You put their mouth on the curb
opinion.
And stepped down, and their mouth was their playoff hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Jesus
I had
Christ.
a good SPP game.
Jesus Christ. Let's see. Hold on. 5, 7, 11, 15, 17, 9, 22. Seems good.
Yeah.
Good.
It was... I didn't have the best of block dice, but he had crucial ones at crucial times. Let's see. His going for it, he had 62%.
Ooh.
He had going for it where he would have tied the game up at halftime.
Ooh.
He rolled a 1. And then there's another one early in the second half where he won and 36'd it, and that gave me all the momentum in the second half.
Yep.
So,
Sometimes that's the thing with Wood Elves. They win by rolling dice and being good at rolling dice, but sometimes they don't roll the dice.
Yeah.
Fortunately for him, no major damage. I don't think any major damage for you as well.
No.
Any fancy level ups you want to share with the stream, or are those both normals?
Those are both being withheld until further notice.
All right, fair enough. Next up, we had Old World Wardens Tetsuya versus Rebel Orcs. Tetsuya, I'm pretty sure, has locked playoffs with this, or close to
Yeah,
locked playoffs.
19 is the magic number, and
Okay,
he's
so
at 22.
yep, so he's in. You are also in, by the way. Congratulations to both of you.
Oh, thank you.
But so now it's just a fight for seeding. But yeah, it looks Old World Wardens just controlled the game. Although they gave up a lot of blocks, it doesn't look like they got punished too hard for it.
They got punished a bit. There's 4 injuries, but
Yeah, but I
is
mean,
there any
no permanence.
major?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
0 damage. That lasted.
That's best case scenario when that stuff happens.
Yep. And Bimmy the Ghoul is now level 5, and he is Blodge Step Sure Hands Guard. So
Yep.
that's a good ghoul.
That is a good goal, and I'm looking forward to killing it.
The rest of the playoff coaches really want you to. Next up, Fluffy Fighting Force versus Teenage Bottle Rocket. Ryu needed to win this to keep his playoff hopes alive, and he did. Wow, and he beat the snot out of the Skaven in the process.
Yeah. It feels like he did the same exact thing that he did to the Skaven as he did to me.
Yeah.
And that is, he just annihilated their hopes and dreams, block by block by block.
20 SPP. It was only 28 blocks succeeded, so not that many blocks, which means that Fluffy Fighting Force was playing it smartly and not giving up a lot of blocks, but 15 armor breaks on 28 blocks, that's going to hurt no matter who you are, and the removal rate was impressive as well, so... How badly did... Oh, but... No, they took it pretty hard on the chin, but I don't see any permanence sticking around, so it looks like if he fired anything, it was just a couple line rats, which, you know, whatever. And meanwhile, if we look at Teenage Bottle Rocket, it's whatever you guys in America are feeding your Chorf blockers, stop it. This is getting silly. Are you
this
seeing
is a reason What? The Chorf blockers? Yeah. That's immediately what happened after they beat me down.
Oof.
Like, this is why I don't want to face Chorfs ever again, is just looking at that.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
It's gross.
I can see why Crucifer spams this team in CCL.
Yep. His Hobgoblins are a lot less memey and a lot more effective than Ozzy's, but they're also bloaty just in the sense that they're Hobgoblins with levels. Although, again, not quite as bloaty as Ozzy's are, so...
Yeah. Ozzy's the king of the bloat, Hobgoblin. No one's taking that crown.
Yep. And last but not least, Losers Anonymous versus Blitzy Ricks in a match that wasn't super playoff important, but again, Urban Dyer put a statement win out, basically just saying, like, hey guys, I'm still here, look out for me next season. So
that was a big time win.
3-0 is a big time win over Dark Elves. It's not like Dark Elves can't score an MVP on a dead guard lineman is rough for Cap.
Are we expecting anything else from Cap's luck this season?
I know, Cap has just been cursed. Short Life Witch Elf and Death Will Come are, I think, his 2 most recent hires. So I think he has embraced what's happening to him this season.
It's just been a steady roll of just... Yeah, he started really well when we both played on the 4th of July and we're both a bit tipsy. Yep. We ended in a tie. And then after that, it was just all downhill for him.
Yep. One thing he can be proud of, I think, is he MNG'd Tusaurus, so he was definitely punching back. Which is pretty impressive. So, well done. Who was that follower? Hasn't updated yet. I'll congratulate whoever it was in a moment. But, yeah, so Cap... I'm sorry about your luck this season. That's just, it's brutal. Ifgis.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thanks for the follow, man. But yeah, there's always next season. I don't know if he's going to keep the team or re-roll for majors, but Either
The
way,
thing is just that this team isn't bad. He has 4 blodge pieces,
it's
enough agility 5. He could just go into a lower division and do well with them.
yeah, that's kind of where I
That's
hope he
thought
finds
process.
himself, because 1350, there's not really much bloat on this team. 2 agility 5 is nice. The blitzers are decently developed for his TV. Like he can get some stuff done.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what he chooses to do. He may decide that he's done with Dark Elves and move on to something else. So, let's look at next week. First up, Balthor's Bashers versus Blitzy Ricks in a match that's purely just for kind of development and ending the season. And
I'm sorry, Cap. It looks like it's not going to end in the storybook.
uh,
You're not going into the lower division, apparently.
I mean, after watching what Balthor's Bashers has been doing to people, yeah, I'm sorry, Cap.
I'm going with Balthor's just because of what's happened recently.
I'm going with Balthor's
against other
too.
teams.
Ozzy, by the way, believes in his boy Cap. He's picked Blitzy Ricks. So,
Oh, snap.
yep.
Okay.
So we'll see how that one turns out. In another non-playoff game, Lizards Anonymous versus Fluffy Fighting Force. So,
I gotta go with Urban. No, wait. He has down two source. Muril. I got you.
yeah, I think I'm going with the Skaven due to Urban being down 2, which is going to be rough for him. Lizardmen without the full complement of Saurus, it really sucks.
And Muril, I want you to drop 90K somewhere because
is he
that's
sitting on-
just money that's not being spent.
Oh, is he sitting on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He's at 1410. Not 1410. He's at 1460. If he drops that
he's
TV.
only at 10 players, so he may just buy 2 line rats. And
Oh, he can. Oh yeah. Just buy a couple players. It's
just buy
not
a
big
couple
at
line
all.
rats, you'll be good. Next up, we have Teenage Bottle Rocket versus Rebel Orcs. So Ryu needs this win.
And he needs to win big to have playoff hopes and dreams.
So, can he do it against Orcs? Chorf's not known for scoring fast and often, and Orcs not known for being the easiest to score on.
I think that they could if their block dice continues doing what they've been doing the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess AV9 fears Claw always, and there's every reason to believe that if Sherlock starts going down pieces, Ryu's guard advantage is going to kick in even harder, and it's going to suck for him to play against. I believe in Teenage Bottle Rocket here. I think it's a team that's designed to murder AV9.
Are you saying Claw murders AV9 or something?
Yeah,
what is this hot take?
I know, right? Only the spiciest takes on Doof's channel. Next up, it's going to be Old World Wardens versus Schoolbusters, which is a totally boring game that has 0 playoff implications at all.
Oh yeah, 0 playoff implications if only you include just like not fighting for the first seed or something.
Yeah, it's not at all the two. One of these guys is going to be the first seed, and one of these guys is going to be the second seed. And
yeah,
we already know who you're voting for, True Blue. So I'm gonna put you down, and I'll let you know that Ozzy believes in Tetsuya. And
I'm gonna break his hopes and dreams then.
I'm on the fence, so change my mind. Why should I pick you?
You should pick me because I'm awesome and I've been doing this for over 2 months with you. But on the field, I think I have a team that matches up well with Tetsuya. I know he has a Palmer, and I'm kind of scared of that. And I know that he's gonna foul the shit out of me no matter what. But I have the ability to score a lot, and I think I can handle some things. I got some things up my sleeve for this game.
So to play devil's advocate here, Undead can also score. They're a faster team than most people give them credit for, with 3 movement 7 pieces. The Palmer and the Meme Fowler, and even if Mr. Skeletal gets ejected, he's got a huge bench of just disposable pieces that he can foul with. How
Yeah,
are you
and we're
planning
both getting
to
a bribe
win
this
that?
game. We both get a
Oh,
bribe this game.
Bribe
We're in his
Stadium?
stadium.
Ooh, Bribe
Yep.
Stadium. I love Bribe Stadium. So, yeah. Bribe Stadium is only second best to Wizard Stadium, in my opinion. My Cripple Cup team has Wizard Stadium because
Why
memes.
not Wizard?
Because memes, mostly.
Yeah.
But, so, how do you plan to handle the fact that he's gonna outstrength you and outfoul you?
That is information that I don't want to give since I'm going for the first seed.
You're gonna roll sixes, got it. Only the hottest takes on,
Yep.
So, I'm gonna go with Ozzy and vote against you because I need to gain points on you in order to try and win the pick'em competition we have going, and that is.
Okay.
I do think Tetsuya's team matches up well against yours, and I also think that Tetsuya could see his team implode, particularly the Aviate Mummy. If that goes down, then he's in pretty big trouble. So,
Yeah.
I am actually really on the fence on this game. I don't know who's going to win, so I'm picking purely based off if I'm right and you're wrong, I get a point back.
All right. Every time they've tried to do this, I'm pretty sure I've scored a point and you haven't. So
I'm pretty sure you're correct. We will see on this one. Nuffle's unfavored versus Bifrost Guardians. So you didn't do any damage to the Wood Elves, and the Bifrost Guardians are not the killiest of Norse teams.
yeah. So to me, this game kind of comes down to: does Angra versus Yearwolf get played? Is damage done?
Yeah.
Because if damage is done, then I would 100% go with Absent Minded. But right now, I have to base it off of what last week's team is. And he's getting that back. That'll be 1630. That's Wizard range. I'm going with Absent Minded because it's Wizard range now.
I think I'm going absent-minded just in general because the way that you beat Wood Elves is removing them, and your Wolf has not built a removal-centric Norse team so far.
Yeah. Who knows? Block may just do block things, but it may not work out that
I
way.
mean, if I'm looking at absent-minded, he's got a decent amount of block and wrestle of his own, particularly on his valuable pieces, and if like a few linemen go down, I don't think he cares that much. I don't know. I don't see how the Norse stack up well in this matchup without the ability to just start murdering everything in sight.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Salty Chips versus Winged Centaurs, Angra versus Ozzy in the battle of third versus fourth currently.
Yeah, and it might be the battle of who gets sent home.
Yeah. So here's again the thing. Angra, if the game doesn't get played, it will probably be a tie, which will mean that Ozzy and Angra will be tied on 18.
And then if Angra doesn't win after that tie, and Absent Minded wins, he misses playoffs.
Yep. Similarly, if Ozzy doesn't win and Absent Minded wins,
By
still
a couple touchdowns.
which is totally doable with Wood Elves.
Yeah.
Ozzy could miss playoffs, so this is a pretty big deal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
This is hard. I'm looking to see if there's potential that he gets a good MVP, and all of a sudden it might change the outcome because it's a crazy good level. Looking at Angra, but as of right now, I just gotta go with the Chorfs, man.
I think
He's gonna get a bribe,
You want another hot take?
and he has a bunch of claw, bunch of mighty blow, bunch of tackle. It's gonna be tough to beat him.
I mean, Chorfs match up well against Dark Elves, because Dark Elves are not the elfiest of elf teams, so they can't just run away constantly. They can run away a little bit, but Dark Elves do want to bash as well. Not a lot, but some. And the minute he starts basing Chorfs is the minute he's going to start losing players. So,
Unless you're lucky and he rules bushes.
yeah, exactly. But Ozzy, unsurprisingly, has picked himself to win.
I picked you as well because I'm not Brutus stabbing Julius Caesar in the back, bitch.
Yeah, I'm picking Chorfs there. It's gonna be rough for Angra. And even if he does win, that could be another game where it's like you win, but you really lose because your first round of playoffs is gonna be
A shit show.
missing a few.
Yeah.
So speaking of playoffs, let's do my fancy schmancy transition here, and let's take a look at the playoff picture as it currently stands. And by fancy schmancy transition, I mean I literally just dragged the window over. So, yeah, that's right, guys. Instead
Super
of
fancy.
instead of recapping a Blood Bowl game, we're looking at spreadsheets today.
Oh
Aren't
man,
you
so
happy?
exciting.
Aren't you so happy you tuned into this recap show? But so the 4 blue and the 4 yellow rows are the current playoff slots, and this is playoffs as it currently stands. So let's look at America's first, since they're on top. And I totally missed
Because that's how we're going to finish in the playoffs, boys. America over EU.
So, as we said, True Blue and Old World Wardens, they're playing for first. Whoever wins. True Blue has the slight advantage of he is able to tie, and it's okay. He still takes first. But, so Tetsuya will absolutely be playing for the win there, and True Blue will be too because he's not a bitch and he plays to win.
Damn right.
So that will be a fun game to watch. I guess since you're right here, let me know when you schedule your game. If it's over the weekend, I will do my best to cast it. If it's not over the weekend, I probably won't be able to, unfortunately. But
Okay.
and then Ozzy and Angra play each other. So again, Angra, hopefully he is able to play his game. We're kind of assuming he ties right now and it's not played, because if he does win, then he's guaranteed playoffs, regardless of what happens. If he does play and win this week. So,
Yeah.
and yeah. Then it really comes down to Ozzy needs at least a draw.
Yep.
And that's another game where if they draw, they both make playoffs. If Angra loses, or if Angra draws this week and then loses next week, or if Ozzy loses next week, technically Ryu can leapfrog, but his TD differential is real. He needs a lot of help with it. His TD differential currently is 1. Meanwhile, Ozzy's is 7, Angra's is 5, and Absent Minded is 4. So.
So he actually doesn't need to win by F ton. Actually, he does. Never mind.
He does.
He needs to win by like at least 2 to have a shot.
Yeah, and then
and that's
Angra
assuming
needs to get
Angra
blown
loses.
out. If
Yeah.
Ozzy loses, I think Ozzy's still.
It's going to be much harder to beat Ozzy. And leapfrog.
Ozzy is tough to beat on TD differential. Wood Elves are known for running up the score, so if Grumple can win by a lot. But realistically, if Angra ties this week and loses next week, and Grumple wins, Angra's in danger of going out. So,
That's weird to say after the start of the season that he had.
yeah, and also just the team that he has and the caliber of coach that he is. But sometimes this is what playoffs comes down to. So, we will update if that game does end up getting played. Currently, it's scheduled for tomorrow, and we obviously hope that it is played, and we hope that Angra stays safe in the path of the hurricane. But we'll get back to that and update our predictions accordingly. But yeah, congratulations to Tetsuya and True Blue, who are both locked in and cannot drop below second, either of them. So they are your first and second seed from the U.S. It's just a question of who is who.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at Europe.
And then,
yeah. Or were you going to say one last thing on America? Or
let's see. America, not really. There isn't much more to say. Europe, it's just going to be interesting. Like, what we've been hinting at all episode long has just been the Corvain game.
Yep.
And how much it means. Because if he loses, it's going to be a shit show.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it will. So, Corvain is currently in the pole position. Obviously, Gogma, York, and Ricky, you guys have all won. Congratulations. We talked a little bit about how that seeding could shake out, but basically, Gogma is praying for a tie. York and Ricky want to beat each other. That's going to be a fun-ass game to watch.
Yes.
So,
I really want to watch that game.
Yeah. So we'll see how that one turns out. Gogma, actually, even though he's in third right now, can't drop below second. So he's either going to be first or second seed. Whichever of Ricky or York beats each other, the other's going to be on 23. Gogma has a bye, so he's going to get 24.
Yeah.
So... and I just quickly put in the last round matchups right there because I realized I forgot to do that. But
oh, nice.
Let's take a look at the fourth playoff slot because that's the most interesting right now. So, Joker and Toast play each other. So, Joker, if he wins and Corvain loses or ties, then Joker is in. Because Joker and Corvain both have a TD differential of 3. Therefore, if Joker wins and Corvain ties, Joker wins the TD differential. The TD differential tiebreaker there. If Toast wins that game, Corvain needs to lose. But if Corvain loses, Toast has a TD differential of 8, so he's automatically in.
Yeah.
Toast has been winning big when he's been winning. So, Ernadar needs to win by at least 2, and Corvain needs to lose, and then Joker and Toast need to tie in order for Ernadar to get in. So it's a much more specific it's a much more specific sequence for Ernadar to get in, but he's technically not mathematically eliminated. So
yeah, and this is what I mean by like he has like a 1% shot where there's only I see one scenario working out for him to make it.
Yeah. It's a very specific set. I mean, it could happen because Joker and Toast could, in both trying to win, could end up tying and beating the crap out of each other, and Corvain could end up in a trap game. If Boo comes to play, and Boo just did
it's
win
Cairo.
3-1, or Cairo, if Cairo comes to play, then I keep mixing up the two human teams. I'm sorry, guys. I swear I'm not racist against humans.
He 100% is, guys.
I mean, it's...
He's a dirty orc coach. What do you expect from them?
They're pink and squishy and totally not orky. They're 100% unorky. Yeah, so... Cairo, again, has this ability to play Kingmaker, and I think that's going to be a really fun game to watch. And I want to see both coaches come into it like bringing 110%, because Corvain is not safe with a tie. He needs a win, so he's going to be going all out for it.
Yeah, and the one thing that I want to say is that Cairo, I don't know what you're going to do with your team, but let's say you're going to trash the team and start anew for the next season. Just go all out. Like, if that's what you're going to do, just go all out. And even then, you have an agility 4 catcher. Just run up the score.
We'll see how it goes.
Just do something.
We'll see.
Make it interesting.
We will see how it goes. That's going to be fun. So,
yeah.
Those are your scenarios there.
Oh, I was just going to say, Corvain can technically still make it with a loss if Joker Toast ends in a tie and Ernadar ends in a tie or a loss.
True. So, Corvain likely to be the 4th seed.
Yes.
Better chance than anyone else, but it's not guaranteed at this point. So let's take a look at the playoff bracket down below. Keep in mind this is just with the current standings, so this is not at all like how it's potentially going to end up. For example, we have Gogma in 3rd, which is mathematically impossible currently, but we can take a look at some potential matchups. So let's go ahead and go off of our... we believe that Lizard Blizzard is going to win, so let's just say Lizard Blizzard wins, and he's going to be the 1st seed EU, which would make Gogma 2nd and Yorick 3rd.
Okay.
So, and let's assume all the other results kind of stand as is. It's going to be True Blue, Tetsuya, Aussie, Angra in that order, and then Ricky, Gogma, Yorick, Corvain in that order. So here is what we'd be looking at. The first matchup, Corvain, for his trials and tribulations and being able to hang on to that 4th spot, is rewarded with a game against True Blue.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that? Obviously, you may have a slight bias in this, being one of the coaches who's playing, but...
Me? Bias? No.
What's your take on on the Human versus Chaos matchup? Let's start there.
The Human versus Chaos matchup, the underrated thing about this matchup is that they're AV8, so if they base too much, I can punch back. And I might get removals that way. So that's one underrated thing I always like to think about in those Chaos games. And then it kind of depends on what stadium there is. That might change up my game plan a little bit. But overall, it's pretty much keep my killer safe and try to pick out people that I can potentially knock out. Hopefully I have enough players to foul, and I foul his key pieces, and all of a sudden I just keep on snowballing momentum in my favor.
Do you think the fact that he'll have theoretically back-to-back human games will impact that in terms of he'll have a little bit of experience there, or do you still feel confident?
Well, he has back-to-back human games, but they're built differently. Very differently.
That is the thing with humans. They all build so differently from each other.
Let me take a look at Cairo's team real quick, just to give me an idea of like what the differences are, so that way I can point them out to you. Because his Ogre, much better than mine because mine died recently. He has a Palmer, I have no Palmer. I think my Blitzers are better developed, but he has a catcher that can score at will. So that's things to think about. I also think I have some better utility skills among the linemen, so I just think if he plays me, it's just going to be a completely different ball game for him.
Yep. And we should also keep in mind that we're talking about humans versus chaos, but this could also just as easily be humans versus Necro, Skaven, or dwarves.
And I think that out of all those teams, the people I don't want to play is the dwarves, the Red Velvet Titans. There's just a lot of Mighty Blow, a lot of guard. That would just be a grind fest, and I don't think it would end well for me, even if I win.
So, Ernadar, you heard it here. True Blue's scared of you. That hopefully gives you some motivation in your last week's game. But on the other side of the bracket, we would have the 3rd seed US versus the 2nd seed EU. So that would be Aussie versus Gogma, assuming that the results that we think of will hold. So Chorf versus Dark Elf.
So this is kind of what you're talking about with Corvain having 2 back-to-back human games. Aussie would have back-to-back Dark Elf games.
And it'd be back-to-back playoff caliber Dark Elf teams, because he would be playing Angra. Gogma's team is a little scarier than Angra's, just to bring it up, because I don't think we did.
Is it still scarier?
Well, it's diminished, certainly. But he's going to be getting some MNG back, and he still has Harper Hitmonlee. And
the Agi 6 thing.
Yeah.
Is really good, but I'm just looking at it. But Ingra, I'd almost argue they're close. They're close.
That's probably the toughest matchup to predict here for me.
Ozzy versus Gogma.
Ozzy versus Gogma. It's two real caliber, high caliber coaches piloting extremely developed, scary teams. The fact that Lavender Town would probably be getting a few inducements in that game might swing it in Lavender Town's favor. And if I was Gogma and I was scumming a wizard, I would scum a wizard for this game in a heartbeat.
Hold on. What's his TV at? I'm looking at both teams'
It's
TV.
1400, but it's going to end up 1570 when Harper Hitmonlee comes back.
1560, and then 1660 versus... That's 160. So 1660 versus 1560. Yeah, he can definitely scum a wizard.
And
that's for sure.
If I was Gogma, I would. Wizards win playoff games.
Oh, yeah. He could probably buy linemen to get a full bench and scum a wizard because of the double money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. As of right now, from the couple of games I've seen Gogma play, I've seen him play probably 5 games or so. He tends to struggle with the really bashy teams out of all of them. He struggled versus Ricky in that game, and then he struggled versus Yorick. So if Ozzy can kind of channel that, he might be able to frustrate Gogma into him winning. But it may be for naught, though.
I've noticed when Gogma gets his back up against the wall, sometimes it feels like he does not tilt exactly, but maybe panic a little bit. He missed a couple potential surfs in his game versus Corvain last week. Or Yorick last week, excuse me. And
to be fair, one of the surfs I said was throwing 17 dice at it, but
yeah. But no, there were definitely, especially in that second half when he was down a ton of players, I felt like he missed a couple opportunities to be more obnoxious than he was being, and force the chaos to score quicker. So we could end up in a situation like that. That said, Gogma's record kind of speaks for itself. He's really a top caliber coach and one of the people I think that those who are doing Oppo research in the majors are watching coming out of minors. So,
wait, what did you just say? What research?
Opposition research?
Opposition?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oppo. Opposition.
Oppo.
Yeah.
Do people study minors coaches?
Well, Iron last week was taking a look at teams, so I know at least.
Well,
some
I think it was
do.
mainly because he was bullshitting with me before.
Nah, but I mean, I think people do keep an eye on the minors. They want to know who's coming out that's a potentially scary future opponent. And they also want to keep an eye on potentially scary teams. Cough, FD, cough. But yeah, let's take a look at the right side of the bracket now. So, Ricky, assuming he wins, will go up against the 4th seed, which we're assuming is going to be Angra.
Yeah.
Could also be
that's
Grumple or Ryu.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting game. Sorry, yawns. Very interesting just because Angra, he might, if he makes it, he might have a fraction of a team that he used to have.
And also, I think Ricky's team is built to be high scoring with an element of control. He's not playing heart-heavy removal lizards. He's playing control lizards and then just letting his bullshit skinks do bullshit skink things.
Yes. In which it's been working. He has a bunch of wins. That game is potentially really, really has the potential to be kind of a blowout unless Angra survives his Week 11 game.
Yeah.
If he survives, all of a sudden I might give the edge to Ricky, but Angra did struggle versus Urban Dyer recently.
Yeah.
Which was probably one misclick away from being a tie that ended up being a win for him. So
yeah.
it's going to be a tough matchup, whatever happens.
Lizards historically are just tough for people to play against when they're still learning the game, because you all of a sudden look at it and you're like, holy shit, 6 strength 4 pieces and a strength 5 piece, I can't hit anything, what do I do? And then they just kind of rampage their way through your lines while laughing and march up the field.
Yeah, it's a very different type of game.
Yeah.
7 strength 4 or better pieces is terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And let's
rookies
say,
sort of
like,
are
Angra...
good now, too. They're not all rookies anymore.
Yeah. And let's just say somehow Angra survives and all of a sudden Rookie has inducements. He could scum Slibbly and he has 8 strength 4 or better pieces.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
That would be brutal to play against.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't see how Ricky doesn't win that game.
I think regardless of whether it's Dark Elves or Wood Elves, or I guess Chorfs would theoretically fare the best against...
I think the Chorfs would have the best chance against Ricky.
Yeah, but the Chorfs also have the lowest chance of making it through. I think likely it's Angra or Grumple. Or Ozzy. It could be Ozzy, so if it ends up being Ozzy versus Ricky, then that becomes a lot more of an interesting game. But...
Oh, yeah. As it currently stands, I think Ricky is hoping that that's how the bracket plays out.
Yep.
Okay.
So last but not least, Tetsuya versus the loser of the Ricky York game, which right now we have as Yorick. So that's Undead versus Chaos, and that is rough for Undead.
Yeah.
This is... like, just from a team perspective, not a coach perspective at all, but from a team perspective, this is where the wheels start to come off again with Undead, when they start going up against high TV kill teams, and they just lack the tools to deal with it.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I will say that one of the things that I've noticed, Tetsuya has 2 losses and a couple of draws. One of the losses was versus Angra. One of them was versus Ozzy. Another one was versus Balthor's Bashers. And that was a draw, I believe. And it was just... he tends to struggle against the other bashy teams.
Yeah.
So maybe Yorick can handle that well.
And Yorick has just been winning against everybody, pretty much. He hasn't exhibited that many weaknesses. So... yeah.
And Yorick's defense... I think that's amazing defense. Probably one of the top in minors, if I'm going to truthfully speak about that.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, it sounds like we both kind of favor Yorick in that hypothetical matchup. Let's flip those. Let's assume Ricky loses versus Yorick, so it's Yorick versus Angra and Ricky versus Tetsuya. Do you still
Ricky versus Tetsuya?
Do you still think the 2 EU coaches come out on top there? Or do you rate Tetsuya or Angra over either of those?
I believe Tetsuya struggled versus Lizards during his college season. That was his only loss during college, if I remember correctly from the interview that we did at the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. And Ricky would, in theory, because I don't see myself doing much permanent damage, even if I win. So Ricky, in theory, could have enough money that he could get Slibbly and all of a sudden continue doing what I see doing. So I'd still say Ricky's probably going to win.
And Yorick versus Angra. So the
Yorick versus Angra, I would actually start to favor Angra there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point where I start worrying that Yorick's lack of development is going to start biting him.
Yeah.
If I just let me just pull up his team real quick. I don't think he's done his levels yet, but yeah, Chaos Warrior probably is going to get Mighty Blow or Guard, one of the two. He does have a Claw Mighty Blow block piece, so he has a dedicated killer, and he has a dedicated ball carrier, and then he's got 1 tackle, which might not be enough against Angra's team.
Yeah. That's just going to be it has potential to be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
I, in theory, he could pull out a 2-1 grind, but I don't know if he could do that. It's going to be one of the more entertaining first round games if that's a matchup,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, it's that one. That one would be fun if that ends up happening.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that kind of covers the playoff picture as it stands right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna wrap up the show for this week.
Can I just throw one thing out?
Yes, you can.
Ozzy, I love you, buddy, but I predicted you to win, but I hope that you lose and you get the 4th seed so that you're on the other side of the bracket.
Worried about the Chorfs?
Did you see the last time I played Chorfs? Yeah, I'm worried.
Yeah, I did see the last time you played Chorfs. Did not end too well, so...
No. I got fucking annihilated in that game. Oh, man.
Yep. Alright, well, that'll do it for the penultimate episode of this recap. Next week, we'll... Honestly, given that we don't have to, like, predict anything, maybe we can try to recap 2 games, depending on how many playoff implications we catch. But we'll play it by ear, and we will be back for the last time next Wednesday. So thanks to everybody who tuned in, and I've been Doof.
I am the True Blue.
And we will catch you next time for what will probably be kind of a sad episode, because it'll be the last one.
It won't be the last because we're still going to cover those playoff games.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
It's not going to be the same.
Alright. Thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you next time. Peace.